What is up? So, we got an interesting one. I've been flip-flopping projects. Let's see, what's the last one I had that was solid? Okay, it's the 89 Civic that's on this channel. Yeah, boy. It's my, the chocolate cream pie car. So, let's see. I had a PC, a nice gaming PC I wasn't using very much. And, so I was like, I'll throw it on the internet, see if I can get, a project car for it. And I had a couple offers that just weren't sticking. There was one I was really interested in, and it was another Civic hatch, and the guy just, he's like, yeah, I'm interested, but would never commit to it. So that one didn't go through. A guy messaged me about, it was a 94 YJ, which I might do some videos on, but I might not, because all I did was diagnosis on this thing. But it had a cool story. It was a 94 YJ, so it had the square headlights in it, Wrangler. And somebody put a 93 to 95 Dakota 3.9 V6 in it. It's like the 318s, the 5.2 or the 5.9 Magnum, pretty much, with a couple cylinders cut off of it. And it had a 5-speed swap in it and 4-wheel drive, but I could not get it to start for the life of me. And then through like days and days and days of diagnosis and chasing down maybe electrical gremlins, because you never know what somebody could have done when they did an engine swap. It wasn't the best to say. Turned out it was the computer was bad, and I was gonna replace it, but I put it on the web, just like I do all my stuff on Marketplace, to see, if I can get something to trade it for while I wait to fix it. And this kid messaged me. He said, does it have this and this on it? And I was like, I'm not sure, but I can check. And he told me he thought it might be his grandpa's, which it was supposed to get handed down to him. So his grandpa died, and the grandma sold it, but it was supposed to get handed down to the kid because he built it with his grandpa. So, as much as I love cars and I understood that, I sold it to him for what I had in it. And then I turned around and I found traffic's slowing way down. Okay, I'm not speeding. So a couple hours away, I found a 2001 Cavalier, which, yeah, those. What are you doing, dude? Fucking stop on the highway. That's dumb as hell. Anyway, I found an 01 Z24 Cavalier, which is the coupe, and it had a 5-speed in it, 4-cylinder. And I was like, dude, I could rise this thing out. Had some okay aftermarket wheels on it. It's still sitting in my driveway right now. And I was gonna fix it up. And it needs a coil pack. I did some diagnosis on that. It's running fine, but it has a little bitty miss at idle. But once you come off idle, it's fine. I was gonna fix that up, and what really sold me on not investing my time and more money into that car was the only coilovers they sell for that car are like $1,500, and I don't even have that. Hold on. Hold on. I don't even have $1,500 in the car, and like once I dump that much money into it, it's never gonna be worth it, ever. I'm never gonna put power to it that's gonna make $1,500 coils work for it. So they don't really make lowering springs for it either, and I did not want to cut the struts, and I don't want to try and find some struts and finagle them and make them work. I've had cut springs. They ride not great, and they make the handling very soft. And there's a lot of windy roads around here I like to drive on, and soft suspension is just not the way to go. So I was like, man, I want to find a Civic or something. But I gave my wife my Civic because she just really loved it. I know this is a long rant, just bear with me, I'm almost there. My wife really loved my Civic, so I gave it to her, and I took her daily, which was originally my car that I... One second. All right, I'm finally stopped. I can finish the story. All right, so I had a 95 Tacoma single cab short bed that had been rolled, and it was kind of damaged. The bed was caved in from it got T-boned, and then it rolled over on its side, and it had it was a total title, and I couldn't drive it because I usually had my kids with me. So I was like, I need to get rid of this. I need something that has at least 4 seats. And the guy messaged me, and it's this car right here. It's a 2013 Sonata GLS, which I was like, I don't care. I don't really want the car, but it comes with cash. So drove about an hour, went and met him, drove it, and it drove really great. Has some issues, but it drove really great. Nice and smooth. You got to be paying attention because you will speed in it. It just happens. So I did the deal, took it home, and I drove it for like a week, and I was like, it's not for me. I don't want it. So my wife had a CRV at the time, so I gave her this car. I sold the CRV, and then I think I bought the Civic with the money or something like that. I don't remember. And fixed it. I think that's what happened. And so when I got this back, I didn't really want it. I've been trying to trade it off for a good while, but it's got some issues. So it has electric power steering, and it's had this since I got it. And there's a sensor behind the steering wheel here, behind the bag and all that. It's in the column. There's a torque angle there's a torque angle sensor in here that I don't know, it like tells the motor down there, I guess, what it's doing, or whatever way to turn it, give it power. And that sensor's bad, so there's no power steering. But it's okay. It's fine. It drives okay until you're like in a parking lot and you're barely moving, and then you don't have power steering. So driving on the highway, it's okay. It gets a little sticky spot right in the middle, but once you start to turn it, it's fine. Never had really any issues with it. We've had this car for 6 months or so, something like that. And then the other annoying issue is the door on the outside. The handle doesn't work. I don't know if the cable's broken or it's the latch assembly itself. But I have to pull the door panel off, and I've done that. And then there was like 20 10-mil bolts to pull a metal panel off, and then you got to get inside the door. And I just didn't feel like doing that. So there's that. And then the body's got a lot of damage. It was rear-ended and totaled. So the quarter panel back there is wrinkled. The trunk doesn't close right. The front bumper was broken, which I just started fixing that yesterday. It's got dings and dents all over it. Blah, 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 blah. So yesterday, I was like, you know what? I after I figured out the coilovers, it just wasn't going to work on the Cavalier for me. I just decided to keep this, because you can get coilovers for this $400 or $500 that are pretty decent, Rev 9s. I've had those on another Hyundai I had, and it rode fabulous. And the thing was dumped, and it rode super good on low pros. Really nice ride. So I'm going to keep this. This is the new project. I have to come up with a name for it. It's already registered in my name. It's already got insurance. I already drive it anyway. Why not keep it? It's something different. It's something that doesn't get modified. People throw these cars away. They had an issue with the engine that, they lock up or blow up or whatever. But this one has already had the recall on it. It has another motor, and I think it's got like 70,000 on it. It runs and drives beautifully. And I don't know how. It's got the little 2.4 non-turbo, and this thing has power. Like, I gotta be careful not to... I know I sound ridiculous because it's a big car with a little 4-cylinder, but it will blow the tires off of it. Like, if I get a little peppy with the throttle off a takeoff, it will blow the tires off. But that's probably because traction control doesn't work because of the steering angle thing. It has something to do with that. I don't know why. But it's got the traction control light on because of the steering sensor issue. Especially when it's raining. I tried to pull out on the highway the other day, and it just lit them up for 40 feet. So it has a lot of power, and nothing else that I'm going to get, no other car that I'm going to get is going to have power like this. So I'm like, I might as well enjoy the power and try to make something out of this car. Because it's really cool when you see somebody take like an oddball car, or it's like normal traffic, and they do something with it. Because if you've ever seen like let's say like the 2010-ish or 2008, somewhere in there, the Hyundai Genesis, you're like, it's a nice car, but whatever. You just look past it. But I had one of those that was dumped on wheels and tires, had carbon fiber hood, side skirts, straight piped, and it was sick. It was, I will put a picture in this video of it. The thing was sick. And so if I'm remembering right, I think this was a 2011 Genesis, and it's probably one of my favorite cars, and I really miss it. It was pretty awesome. I got looks and comments everywhere, but when I had it, I lived in Tulsa, which is like 2,000 miles away from here, and all the approaches were really steep, and there's a lot of traffic in Tulsa, so you gotta whip that shit in. But it was like this far from the ground, so you and that wasn't the life for me. I like low cars, but I don't like scraping all the time. I don't want to be replacing metal parts because they're dragging on the ground. That's just not like, some people love it, but it's just not me. Like, I'm good for maintenance, but I don't want to be replacing hard parts. All right. So that's just not me. I didn't have the money to do it right, if I lifted it, I needed to put bigger tires on it, and I just put tires on it, so I wasn't going to do all that. I ended up trading it off. And I really miss that car. So now that you listen to all my rants and raves, I hope to do something with this car. It runs and drives great. I think it can be something. I really think it can be something. It's got Bluetooth radio. It's got 4 seats. It's got 4 doors. It's got a big trunk. I think this thing can really be something. So, I mean, here goes this project. I don't know what to name it, and I think this project, I'm gonna put videos of like small projects instead of how I did on the Civic. It just kind of got lumped into one video, which it did really good. But this one, I need to sell the Cavalier, which it runs and drives good. And it needs a few things like window motors and like a coil pack, that's like $25. And I might even fix that. But, once I get that sold, I'm going to buy some wheels and tires for this, and probably coilovers, and then maybe a few other little things. But I'm going to start straightening out some of the body that I can, and just doing little projects here and there, getting this thing cleaned up and a little nicer, because I want this to be something. I know this one's going to take quite some time, so I'm going to do this one in smaller videos, because I don't want to wait. I don't know how long this car's going to take. I really don't. So the Civic, it had cheap parts thrown on it, and it looks really good. It drives really good, but it's a very small car, very little horsepower, and I don't want to just throw the cheapest parts I can find at this one. So this one's still on a budget, but I'm more aware of that this is a bigger car and it has more power, and I don't want to I don't want to throw the cheapest parts at it. I've had issues even with expensive parts on it, so I'm gonna have to do my diligence. I've had a set of BC coilovers. It snapped right at the top hat, right under it, just sheared off the strut, and it goes up and down the polish rod. And I was driving and just crank, and the steering wheel goes funny, and I'm like, this doesn't feel right. And I pulled over, and the coilover's like stuck off into the fender, but managed to get it home, and that car's gone. So I got rid of it. I got tired. I love Subarus, and I also hate Subarus, and I want to own another one, but I probably will never own another one, just because it's one of those mind games. Every time you drive it, you're like, is this gonna break down on me? Is it gonna blow up today? Is it gonna blow up today? They're very temperamental. But welcome to the new project. I hope you guys will follow along, because who doesn't like attention? Me personally, I like to see things that don't usually get built. I like to see that. Everybody does the same thing on every build. You look at like an EM1 Civic, especially, they almost all look the same. Like, they're beautiful, they're great. There's a reason why people do it, but just there's so many builds that they're like all the same. They might have small differences, but I want to do something different. Not that I want to stand out, but I don't like doing the same thing as everyone else. So I'm pretty excited for this. I finally got my mind set on it, even though I've had this car for like over half a year or something like that. So yeah, here's the Hoopty Hyundai. I've actually had this bumper off. It will come off again. That was the first repair. It's plastic welded, and it was all cracked. There's probably like 4 cracks there. Removed those blockouts, and then there was like an arrow guard under there that I removed that and trimmed it. Paint has seen better days for sure. This is a different fender. I don't know how many times this thing's been crashed. It's being held on with zip ties right now, so scratches. This is the big damage right here. It's got a wrinkle somewhere in here, and then this is pushed in. This doesn't work, so it's held in by a screw. This whole thing's wonky. I've popped some of it out, but it's gonna need more love. Bumper is broke, so I'm gonna have to try and fix that. Oh, I popped it. Yeah, anyway, this doesn't line up very good. It's pretty close to that. Dings and dents. This is pushed in a bit, but not too bad. I don't know if somebody tried to break in. Ugly wheels. Dings and dents. Mangled fender. I don't know why this headlight's yellow. I might have to hit it again with polish. I polished it yesterday, and it's still yellow. I know it's not a lot to look at, but I don't have a lot of money. It's just bare facts. And there's a lot of people out there that don't, and they want to do something different, and they want to do something cool. Hopefully we can get there. I'm going to start by just trying to fix some stuff, and then once I get the Cavalier sold, I will start throwing some fun parts on it, and that's when it'll start to look better. But it's just something different, and hopefully it'll be kind of cool. I've built a lot of like budget-minded, cool cars. And I've had a lot of cars. I'm probably in like the 140 cars in my time. So hopefully this can be another cool one. Only time will tell. I mean, who knows? Maybe I'll get rid of it in a day or two. We'll see. Thanks for watching. I'm actually working on this rear bumper right now. So after this one goes up, I'm gonna start putting some other little videos up, and they're gonna be probably fairly short because they're single projects. And I'm just do short little videos like this. This one's kind of long and very ranty and talky. So if you stuck through it, I appreciate it. Peace.